Here we are, guys, another great episode of Zach is Cooking, again for real working guys. Here we have some bacon. Making the bacon, bringing home the bacon in more ways than one. So I'm going to fry my bacon up here on the griddle on the stove. Let's take a look at it. Well, guys, this is one of the Yorks I put in 2011. Never had any issues out of any of these Yorks ever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little check and clean on it, make sure everything's squared away. Here's some of our components. We have our defrost board, potential relay, contactor, run capacitor, and the black one is the start capacitor down there because we have a reciprocating compressor down there from Bristol. So I'm going to check these caps. We'll move on. I am taking a look at a train unit, one of the types that I see quite a bit here at the apartment complex. We got a 53, 52 section, 192. We're going to see how that works out right now. It's 8 degrees of subcooling, so it's a decent amount of subcooling. 28 to 60, it's quite a difference, but that's going to kind of level out as it runs for a while. When you have a piston and the unit starts up, you usually get a little surge downward on the suction line, then it rebounds back up. So you got to give it 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes, somewhere in there to rebound back up. I was told this compressor does not work any longer. I was unable to come out here on Monday, so they had one of the guys that they knew come by and take a look at it. He said the compressor was bad. The hard start was bad. The ICM hard start was bad, which is kind of sad because 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5 of them so far have gone bad. This capacitor from 1996 is still good, but the hard start couldn't make it a few months. Very disappointed, so I'm going to do away with using those. I had the 521s again now. Probably should have never strayed. They've never done me wrong, but I wanted to put some effort into getting US products, but that one has failed miserably. The thermostats are doing better. The simple comfort thermostats, haven't had any problems with those, but we'll see. I'm going to let this thing rebound. As you see, it's back up to 65 right now. We'll let it run for about 10 minutes and see how the charge looks. And if the charge is good, maybe this machine will be around for a couple more years. I think it does leak a little bit of refrigerant, so we'll see how bad off it is. Guys, as you can see, we have a 94-degree liquid line down there. That's our Hillmark clamp, and a 72-degree suction line, which is right here in front of me, my nice little Chinese clamp. And 104 and 42 mean that we have about 10-degree subcooling, which is good, and 42, that's a 30-degree superheat, which is a little bit high, so we might add a little bit of charge to it. 85 degrees outside, so we have a 20 to 25-degree temperature difference between that and our condenser temperature. That puts us 105 to 110, which is a little bit above where we're at, so that little bit of charge makes sense in that regard as well. So I'm going to add a little bit of refrigerant to it, maybe, probably won't even be a pound. We'll get it squared away. Guys, our suction temperature is down to 65. That puts us right around a 20-degree superheat, which is where we want to be. 85 degrees outside puts us around 110. We're 105, so a little bit shy of that, but that's all right. 105, our subcooling is just over 10, so that's fine. We put just a little bit less than a pound in there. So everything seems to be working okay now. Need a little bit of refrigerant, which is the story with this unit for the last few years. Been leaking a little bit of refrigerant. So, about to wrap it up here. See where our temperature's starting to dive back down then, give us a little bit lower superheat. We're down there 16, I guess, now. So, we're happy, and I'm going to move on to the next one. Well, I'm on another call here. I'm getting my stuff out of the truck. Excuse me. And I wanted you guys to see something that I ran into that's not typical, but is definitely a red flag. We have a Bryant unit, package unit. It froze up pretty bad earlier. I'm checking the evaporator now to see if it still froze up. Got a little bit of ice left in here with the bugs. I don't see much as far as streaking or anything like that on the coil. Duct goes down there into the darkness. Alright, we're gonna put it back together and start it up. Guys, you can hear the compressor is really struggling. It's because it has a low suction pressure. 58.2, 360, 108 condensing temperature, 410A. Almost over 20 degrees of subcooling and 70 degrees of superheat. The TXV is bad. You can see right here, we're frosting up all the way back over here. It's going to continue to frost up until it's completely covered again. So we have a bad TXV, needs to be replaced, unfortunately. I have the TXV bulb in my hand, trying to get a little bit more charge through there, see what I can do. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Hovering around 69 pounds, and of course on 410A that's pretty bad. We're frosting up still. We're going to keep on frosting up. Maybe I'll strap it to the discharge line and see if we can't get a little bit more refrigerant through there. But this ought to be, increasing that amount. It's going up slightly, so maybe a Copeland issue because of the rust inhibitor. I had to look up the numbers. This one's from 2013 late, so I am not sure because I haven't dealt with that very much personally. I'm leaving my bulb on top of the compressor to make sure it's letting the maximum amount of refrigerant through, because I know they're going to have to cool down the house at least a little bit because it's oppressive in there. And they got small children and pets and stuff in there, so can't just shut it off. Not the best case scenario, but it's a way for them to get some cooling for an hour at a time. Guys, we're in a crawl space on a furnace. I service this furnace on a regular basis. It looks like all of a sudden our condensate pump don't want to run. Pan's full, has the system shut off. So I'm gonna open her up and see if I can salvage her or not. Alright guys, I got my condensate pump out here. You can see on the bottom side, well, it's hard to see because of the big switch there, but let me show you. On the bottom side you have a float switch on this side. See the small float switch, and then you have the float that operates the pump. So we're gonna push it up, see if we get some pump action whenever I turn the power on. Plugged in. Nothing. Make sure that other one's down. We don't have nothing on that one. That pump's done. So what I'll probably do is just let it drain here overnight while I get a new pump. Hey guys, it's been a long day. I'm heading home from a call. I'm giving you the nighttime view here. I got the moonrise coming over a field here on the right. It's a pretty nice looking view. And I was thinking about some of the things that we take for granted. I came home from work today. It was a long day. I did 3 calls. I got home. It was probably around 4:30 or so. And I got called out again at 6:30 with water coming out of the base of an electric furnace that I had installed an A-coil on top of about 2 months ago. So, you have to go out there and take a look at those sort of things because you had just worked on it, and even if it's unrelated to what you did, you still have to take a look at it. And I give people some leniency with that sort of thing. Well, the drain was blocked. And it was draining just fine whenever I installed it, because that's one of the things I like to see. I like to see a good drain flow once I'm done. So I cut the drain apart, because after I put my little Duel shop vac on it, which is battery powered, it wouldn't free anything up. So I went to go get the big shop vac, the 5-gallon shop vac, and it wouldn't free up but a little flow of water, and the drain pan on the Mortex coil was full. So I said, all right, well, in this case, since the entire drain is accessible, I said I'm just going to go cut this drain in half underneath and see what I can find. Well, I traced back one of those black rubber hoses that are on mobile homes quite a bit, and they pipe clamp them onto either PVC or this gray PVC barb that goes into PVC or something like that. So it was coming into a barb, And it was almost sandwiched off, but it wasn't completely shut, so it wasn't the cause of it, but it was a good thing to get out of there. I cut that piece out, and I took that long section that ran from directly under the electric furnace all the way outside, and I drug it out of the crawl space because this was a single wide, so it's easy to reach. You just take some of the underpinning loose and crawl under there. I drug it out, and I hooked up nitrogen to one end of it, and I ended with the barb, and I blew and blew and